Hello and welcome back to 1874. I'm your host, Dan Bardell, joined in person by Villaview alumni, Dan Rolinson. And what we're going to do today is, I quite liked this idea when I came up with it yesterday on the phone to you. We're going to pick a realistic player from every current Premier League side that could be a signing for Aston Villa in the summer. So we're not saying that they're going to happen, but we're not going to just go, I don't know, Tottenham, let's sign James Maddison. So we'll start then with, I don't like them being top of the list of Premier League teams, but
it's absolute woke nonsense.
AFC Bournemouth, I reckon we'd probably pick the same player here. Who have you picked?
Should we reveal it on three to prove that theory?
1, 2, 3. Semenyo. He'll command a big fee.
Yeah.
He plays games on the right wing. I think feasibly Villa could be looking for a right-sided player in the summer if Leon Bailey goes. He's a versatile forward as well because he can play in other positions. He's played in the Premier League for a few years. Bournemouth have been really, really good under Iraola, but I think there's no doubt that at some point certain players will look to leave. Yeah. I guess Kirkes might go, Howson's probably going to go, so they wouldn't want to sell too many players, and he's under contract.
Yeah, to the point that when I took screenshots on the Premier League app for each club, and I did this one, and I thought we're starting with this, and there's a chance that I've already gone, this isn't quite realistic, so I'm glad that you've gone with the same.
I'm not saying it's going to happen, but I think it's realistic.
I think
Newcastle's a decent shout. But no. Liverpool will want some versatile forwards. I think there's a world where he goes to Liverpool. He's a good player though, isn't he? I mean, he didn't do loads against Villa at the weekend. Obviously, we're filming straight after that Bournemouth game. But
he's had a good season. He's dangerous, good age as well, and would fit in nicely. So, okay.
So as I've said, we've tried to be as realistic as possible, and I've got to be honest, Arsenal, I couldn't find a realistic sign.
I haven't picked one, genuinely.
I picked Win the Dog to come to the training ground and just, Win the Dog's done the best to get kind of winning mentality at Arsenal. And to a degree of truth, that has succeeded. That's the best I could come up with was Win the Dog.
No, I like that, I like that.
Yeah.
I'd love to see Win the Dog in a football shirt.
Maybe we can find out whether Unai Emery's got a dog.
Ask Jacob to ask him next.
Yeah, I'll get Jacob or John to ask that question. Okay. Right then, Brentford, probably done the same again, I would say. It's a similar vein to Semenyo in terms of position. Mbeumo?
Yeah. Again, I don't think it's realistic though.
I think it is. Out of everyone I wrote down here for every Premier League team, if I could pick one of these transfers to actually happen, I'd pick this.
I agree.
He's got 18 Premier League goals at the time of filming. Brilliant ball carrier. Plays on the right-hand side, obviously. I think he plays into Emery's system perfectly. I think if you look at a lot of our signings, we've tried to sign ball carriers. A player that's improved every single year. He's been in the Premier League. Yeah. Brentford's main man. Thomas Frank's as good as said he's available. I think he might be a bit on the pricey side, which depending on whether we get Champions League or not.
About 60 right now, I think.
I think they probably want. I think he probably is worth more in the modern age.
I think he'll go to Liverpool.
No, not now Salah stayed. I think that's a realistic signing, whilst not thinking it's one that's going to happen. But I'd love it to.
Yeah, I think it's just teetering over the edge of being a little bit too much.
But where would he go in the Premier League? Again, Newcastle, do you think?
Newcastle.
That's nice. Brentford are ahead of Tottenham. Brighton. Hard. I found this difficult. I was thinking of going for Lamptey just because he's a right back. Played well against Villa earlier on in the season. But I didn't do that. What did you do?
I don't think any of mine are realistic at the moment.
That's great. Really great for a video.
I've gone Belieber.
Do you think we'll be signing a central midfielder?
Probably not, no. Not realistic in terms of price. They'll want absolutely loads for him. And again, it feels like another Chelsea or Tottenham or that kind of ilk of club will go for him and just pay the big money and get on with it. I was just thinking if like Kamara left and we had Tielemans and Nana Belieber as 3 options to go with.
I wonder where I don't think he'll go in the summer. I wonder where he would go there. Probably to Chelsea. Yeah. Chelsea love buying a player off Brighton, don't they? I went for Minter.
Yeah.
Again, right wing. Doesn't feel massively realistic. I don't think he'd be someone we'd go in for, but I think Brighton spent so much money in the summer and they might not qualify for Europe and they've got so many players and they don't realise how many players
Brighton have got. There's a big squad through it.
Like an attacking player may have to be sacrificed at some point. They might look at Minter as being one that's an acceptable loss. I only got him for 40 million a year ago, of course, from Newcastle because of PSR. Yeah. That was what I came up with. Now, this is a niche, not even niche. People think it's wild. Who I've picked for Chelsea.
Chelsea, okay.
Yeah, who have you gone for?
I've gone Madueke.
Questions over attitude for me.
Yeah, again, I'm not.
I don't think it's.
I think it's probably of the ones I've picked, it's the most realistic. Could I actually see that happening? Like, could Villa go and pay the money required to get him in? Yeah. Would I want him? No.
No. Okay, fair enough. I've gone for Nicholas Jackson.
Again, I feel like exactly the same what I've said applied. I wouldn't want him either.
No, hear me out.
The Emery thing.
Chelsea might sign a striker. He's played for Emery before. Kind of player that's got a bit of a ceiling. I think he's a long way off his ceiling at the moment. I think he's got some really good attributes when he's not elbowing people in the face.
Yeah.
If Chelsea signed a striker, would he be happy at being second choice? Probably not.
Would you swap Watkins for him?
No. But if Watkins was to go, we would need a striker. So is it then is that a player that Emery again thinks that he can?
So I've worked with him before.
He can build. He's malleable.
The next one I've got for Palace is
It's be the same, won't it?
Eze.
Eze, yeah. Villa can take players from Crystal Palace.
That's what I thought.
We can.
He will cost. I think it's his release clause 60.
Yeah.
I've seen somewhere. I think so. Could Villa go and pay that? Yes. Would he make Villa better? Yeah, I think so. Could we go and poach a player from a club like Palace?
Yeah.
Yeah, obviously. So realistically,
not being disrespectful there either.
No, just they're going to be 12th. They might have won the FA Cup. Whatever.
I mean, we should have put Ismail Assar down just to stop him scoring against us, and we did try and sign him previously under Gerrard.
I almost did go for him.
I'd sign him and never play him.
Just so he can never score against us again. Yeah.
Sick of the sight of him, I am.
Yeah.
But Eze's fairly realistic, I would say, for Villa. If Villa are in the Champions League and they can offer Champions League football and they pay the release fee, that's a realistic signing.
But if I had a bucket, I'd put Mbeumo and Eze in the same bucket. I feel exactly the same about both.
I think Mbeumo's slightly above.
Yeah.
Just because of his position. Okay. Everton. I mean,
Didn't pick one.
Didn't pick one. Well, Villa and Everton, obviously last summer, did a lot of business with each other. PSR.
Yeah.
That might be a factor with Chelsea again. Villa, Chelsea, Newcastle, and Everton, I think, will be working with similar vibes. And I think Forest are okay, I was going to put Timmy Irabunum down, just to buy him back a bit like Villa Jane, and then we sell him again in January, just to do a little bit around PSR. But I actually put down, again, I don't think it will happen, which is my favourite saying on this video so far.
Yeah, I think you need to change this from realistic to something else.
If Mings was to go, we'd be in the market for another left-sided centre-back. I'll just put Branthwaite down. Everton may have to sell him PSR homegrown. I've just put it down. It's not unrealistic, I don't think that.
I don't know. I think they'd want way too much money for him. I don't think we need...
I prefer Mings to stay because Mings is one of my favourite players ever, so I would prefer that.
I'd like him. I'd like him to play for us, but I can't see that happening.
Okay, fair enough. Fulham?
Didn't pick one for them either.
Okay. Let's say Villa don't qualify for the Champions League.
Yeah.
And we end up in the Europa League or the Europa Conference League.
Yeah.
Emery has worked with this player before, can play in a few different positions. Might be interested in working for him again. Has had a good season actually. Would come in and probably not be a starter, but be a rotation option. Alex Iwobi.
Ooh, okay.
If we get the Champions League, absolutely no chance.
Yeah.
But if we were to be playing in the second or third tier European competition,
as an option,
just for usefulness.
Yeah. I don't know whether I rate him.
I think he's had a really good season.
Yeah, he's had a good season.
Good player for Fulham, but sometimes players just suit certain teams. I think maybe he didn't do it at Everton.
And can have one good year and then do nothing.
I think he's been pretty consistent for Fulham. I think if you ask Fulham fans, they really like him. Ipswich.
Liam Delap.
We don't need to go into that. If Villa were to be after a striker, Watkins left, didn't sign Rashford.
30 million
would be a good option, wouldn't it?
Yeah,
Good player,
definitely.
got to see high ceiling. Yeah.
Easy.
Yeah. Leicester.
I put El Canouse. I don't think there's anyone in the squad that raises Villas in any way.
No, I'm not happy with
None of them make us better.
No. We linked with Ndidi a year ago, weren't we? But not for me. Not better than what we've got.
I don't know why I suddenly picked somebody for these when I didn't pick somebody for the others, but he felt like the best option of a bad bunch of looks okay, he's still young.
Okay.
Yeah.
I just put down their FA Cup that they won. Because it's the only way we're going to get the FA Cup trophy at Villa Park.
Can we have the Premier League as well?
We're destined to never win a trophy, aren't we? So I'll just put the FA Cup down. I was going to steal that. Obviously, technically, Tielemans scored the winner in that game.
Yes,
the FA Cup final, so technically
we own a bit of it
he's
somehow.
got a percentage of ownership of
got
that
a
FA
winner's
Cup.
medal.
He's got a claim to it. Liverpool.
I thought this was really difficult as well because Premier League champions. It's a bit like, I think we've done a similar video to this before, and in recent years.
Didn't tell me that when I came up with the idea.
In recent years, you go to Man City's squad and just go, well, they're all that good.
Yeah, but you might want to go and get a kid or something.
I think this is completely rogue. I've gone Gakpo.
No. Realistic. The word realistic in the video, in the title.
Just change the title.
No, I've put Jarrell Quansah.
Yeah, again,
Centre back,
I
right
just thought
back.
it was boring though.
Well, I was going to... Obviously, we've been in with Joe Gomez before, but his injury record would scare me. Quansah isn't going to be first 11 for Liverpool. They might sign Howson. Konate might get a new contract. Then does he want to go and play first team football somewhere and he kind of replace Dizazi, Manchester City?
I didn't pick one. McAtee.
You could have come up with a realistic one here.
Boring though.
Oh, the shirt's gone. Jack Grealish?
Nah, that ain't gonna
You wouldn't want him?
It won't happen. It ain't realistic.
Last time I spoke to his family, I don't think it was on the cards, but it was a while ago since I asked the question.
He won't come back now. I don't think. I think
he would.
I think he's still so divisive that I don't know if he could guarantee
Mate.
what reception he's going to get.
Ashley Young did similar things. He gave dived for a well, no, he wasn't. I don't know why I've done that. It was a dive. Dived for a penalty. He was getting pelted every time he came back to Villa Park. Got Gabby sent off in the game. As soon as he signed for us again. Oh, Ashley, welcome back, in you come.
that's
We
different
missed
somehow.
you. It's not though. It's exactly the same.
I think from that side of things, Emery might want to get something out of him. Fine.
It's a typical Emery signing in Spain.
Like a project almost.
Yeah,
like,
getting an experienced player
Yeah.
back to his best.
I just don't think he would go for it.
I think he could be tempted. If we're in the Champions League,
Yeah, maybe that'd be a difference.
playing for your boyhood team in the Champions League. I have all of these on here. It's probably the most realistic one.
Dear.
Probably. Yeah. Let's move on, and I've picked another former Villa player here. Manchester United.
I don't have a United one.
You haven't picked one? I thought you might just try and say they're so crap now that we can take Bruno Fernandes, but you haven't gone down that route.
I feel like I did pick somebody, but I just didn't have a screenshot of it. Who have you gone for?
Well, we're going to need a backup goalkeeper. I don't know whether he's going to be a young prospect or an experienced pro.
Yeah.
Tom Heaton's at Manchester United.
Yeah.
We tried to sign him again at, I can't remember exactly the point it was, but we did try and sign Tom Heaton again, so I've been told. Reliably.
I'm going through their squad now, and I can't think who I would have picked when I was
So we
doing
can
this
agree
last
with
night.
Heaton.
Yeah, I'll go with
Why
that. I'm a little bit with them and Spurs. The gut reaction is to go, well, we're better than all of them. But because of what they are, Rashford is almost the perfect example. Literally.
I mean, I probably should have just put Rashford down. That would have made complete sense
Maybe
to have
I
done
did
that.
go for Rashford actually, and I can't think of it because he's not on the squad
Yeah,
list.
okay, that's a good one. Maybe two players from Man U in the summer.
But you could say like, obviously this isn't going to happen, but you go like, almost any player on here, you go, well, yeah, but Villa have already got someone better than that. But Emery would make them better than what
It's
they
also
are at
like it's
United.
whether it's realistic. People
Yeah,
like
yeah,
such
yeah.
big contracts there that they don't want to be pulled out of there.
Yeah.
So it's difficult. Rashford would have been the
Rashford would go with
sensible
that.
one.
I
there,
might
wouldn't
have
it?
gone for that, but
Yeah, I think you
just didn't
probably
pick
have. Newcastle,
Barnes.
same.
Yeah. It was
Again, to stop him scoring against us was
the
one of my
paper talk,
reasons.
wasn't there, of Ramsey
Yeah.
to them and Barnes to us.
I think that's
I think that could happen.
quite intelligent reporting from whoever did that. Because again, PSR,
Do you reckon that's intelligent guesswork more so?
might
than
be a little bit of
facts?
guesswork to it, but there has been interest from Newcastle in Ramsey previously.
Yeah, and us in Barnes.
And if you have to do that for PSR purposes, Ramsey goes there and Barnes comes to Villa.
I think when you frame it like that, I think we're on the worst side of the deal.
Possibly. I don't. Nah.
I think if we sold Ramsey for 50 million to
Different
Spurs
types of players,
and
I suppose.
signed Barnes for 40, I think that's good business then.
You mean Newcastle, not Spurs?
No, I mean, take Newcastle out of the
But
equation.
swapping them you
A
don't
straight
like.
swap, I feel like we've got the worst end of that deal. Ramsey's a better player than Barnes.
Yeah. I agree with you, but I think Barnes is a good player.
Forest, I've gone Aina.
Yeah, I like that. He's not signed a contract
signed
yet,
a
has he? He's a
contract.
right back.
Played well against us in the games we played
Had a
against
good
them.
season. Arguably the best right back in the Premier League this season.
Possibly, yeah. Certainly right up there.
If we were to get Champions League and they don't,
Yeah.
free. If we've got PSR concerns, getting a right back on a free is quite a big thing.
And you could either have Aina and Cash.
Because you play left back as well. Quite liked it when Ashley Young covered both, even
Yeah.
though we had two left backs. My Southampton picks along the same kind of vein. Cole Walker-Peters is going to be a free.
I've gone Tyler Diblin.
Well, I did think that. It felt pretty obvious to pick Tyler Dibley, but it also, to me, felt a bit Philogene
Ooh.
in terms of, okay, you've done it at a crap team, Southampton. You're a prospect without a doubt, but do you actually realistically come in and make
Are you
Villa
actually
better?
good for
Or do
that,
you just
what,
sit
our
on the
level?
bench, have one good game as essentially a right wing back against Bayern Munich and then that's it?
Yeah. Possibly. Again, I think it's probably not realistic in terms of transfer fee. You almost don't want this to work out this way, because if he does go on to be good, you'd say, why didn't you get him now?
Yeah.
But I almost wouldn't be surprised if the best beneficiary of signing Diblin is whoever gets him after the next one.
I think players quite often miss a step in a move. I think Philogene did that. I think there's a step before a team like Villa for Dibley.
Like if he went to Brighton, for example, and played well for 2 years, it's
Bournemouth.
Chelsea that will get the best out of him when
Yeah,
they
same with
sign him
Bournemouth.
after that. Yeah.
Don't want to have to move house. Spurs, I struggled with Spurs. So
I did as
basically
well.
what I did was
I had a
I just picked
cop
a
out
player who
answer.
technically they don't own, Matthias Tell.
Okay.
I just picked him.
Yeah.
Maybe he'd be interested in Champions League football if we get there.
I've gone Bentancur. So the Emery
Injury
link. We've
prone.
been linked with him before, haven't we?
Yeah, injury prone. Not sure. Sure he's actually better than anything we have.
No, I don't either. But is he better than Barkley
Yeah.
as a like last option off the
I
bench?
do like Ross. I do think Ross had a good season when he was fit.
Not
West
been good
Ham,
since
I've
the
gone
injury,
down
no.
the backup goalkeeper route, which is quite boring.
Okay.
Fabianski/Areola. Fabianski's going to go.
Yeah, his contract up. Yeah.
Areola, they're probably going to sign a new goalkeeper, so he'd be number 2 at West Ham. Would you rather be number 2 at Villa? Probably.
Yeah.
Competent goalkeeper.
Yeah.
So they're the 2 I came up with for West Ham. And
Don't
to
mind
be
that.
honest, Wolves, I went down a similar route.
Am I not doing my West Ham one?
Oh, sorry, I thought you were agreeing with me.
No, I am agreeing. I picked Tadibo.
Wolves, have you gone Cunha?
I didn't screenshot it, but I thought Cunha was the obvious one. Yeah.
Yeah.
Which
Wolves fans wouldn't like that, would they?
I don't know if I'd like him, to be
He's a
honest.
bit of a hothead. I just didn't think it was realistic. I think he's going to go to Manchester United.
Yeah.
So it just didn't feel realistic. So basically, I went a bit down the Tom Heaton route. Sam Johnston.
Yeah.
Completely like...
I didn't even realise he was
I
there.
think he's 3rd choice keeper at the moment. They've just he's not got on well. At Wolves, it's been a disastrous move for him. I know how upset he was to leave Villa in the first place. Has he got any friends left in the dressing room? I don't think anyone still plays for us that he would have
McGinn?
played with. No, he wasn't here.
Is he not? Did
No,
he
he
not
missed
cross
him.
paths?
There's no one here.
I'd put money on them playing together.
I've got a real soft spot for Sam Johnston.
Yeah, I don't mind that. I think that's a good shout.
Yeah.
Read out your names again to me.
All of them.
Yeah, just
Win the Dog, Semenya, and Mbeumo, Minter, Jackson, Eza, Brantwaite, Iwobi, Delap, the FA Cup, Quansah, Grealish, Heaton, Barnes, Aina, Cole Walker-Peters, Matthias Tell, Fabianski, Areola, Sam Johnston.
I don't think any of those will sign for Villa this summer.
Oh, you know what? I'd bloody love it if we did, and we got to clip this up and we signed
ahead.
one of these players that I've picked out here.
Go ahead.
I'm going to put my neck on the line and say we'll sign one of these. Someone on my list.
Specifically?
I'm not going to give you a
Just one of them.
specific.
Okay.
I'm going to cover myself. The 19
Villa will
players.
sign one of 20 players.
Welcome, Win the Dog. Thank you for joining us here on 1874 with myself, Dan Bardell, and former Villa View colleague Dan Rolinson, part of Claret and Blue, of course, nowadays. Really enjoyed that concept.
I did, yeah.
Not sure you fully understood it, but I enjoyed the concept. Let us know in the comments if you agree with our picks. Hopefully we've got a jazzy thumbnail as well.
I would love it if people are more with my picks than yours on
I
your
don't think
channel.
there's one on yours, by the way.
Really?
Unless it's one I've got on here.
Okay.
Hopefully there's a jazzy thumbnail to accompany this as well that entices people into
That is the aim, yeah.
to come and watch it. But yeah, if you've watched on YouTube, give it a like, leave us a comment as well with whether you agree with us, and subscribe with your post notifications on, please. Very, very important. If you're listening via audio, Spotify or Apple, 5-star review, comment, or just a nice written review as well would be much appreciated. Plenty more content here to come on 1874, and as ever, we'll end with an Up the Villa.